everyone, welcome to another episode of Dots on a Map Food. Today we're in beautiful New Orleans and we're going to be taking you out for a full day of eating around town. Stick around to see what happens when local Louisiana ingredients meet European, African, Caribbean, and Native American culinary traditions. We kick off the day strong at Clesi's, a family-owned seafood restaurant. We're here for something classically Southern, the Crawfish Boil.
They're not that flexible, so...
They're not doing yoga?
No.
So here's where the magic happens. We're opening these guys up. It's still around 10:30 a.m., so the brunch crowds haven't started rolling in, so the crawfish are being boiled at a smaller scale. All right, check out this guy. So James, one of the co-owners of the restaurant, was telling me that these guys are freshwater. I think they might technically be insects, but I'm not 100% sure. But as you can see, they kind of just look like mini lobsters. And you can find these in rivers and swamps, and there's actually crawfish farms across Louisiana. They often farm them in rice paddies, so when it's rice season, they grow rice, and then they use that same water to farm the crawfish, and then they just change it over as the season progresses. So pretty cool. Got lots of these bad boys over here. So we've been in New Orleans for about a week now, and as you may know, drinking on the streets is totally legal here, and people take full advantage of it. Like, it seems like at all hours of the day, people are just drinking, and we're like, are we old? Like, why aren't we drinking? We gotta fit in. It'll be like 1 p.m. and people will be walking around with like beers and mimosas and plastic cups on the street. So getting in the spirit over here. It's the Big Easy after all. Here at Clesi's, the Crawfish Boil is a scaled operation. Thousands and thousands of crawfish are put into a merrily boiling pot with corn, mushrooms, sausage, and potatoes. Add a whole lot of crawfish seasoning and hot sauce, of course. Give it a stir, and voila, a gorgeous final product. So we have gotten what we've ordered, and it is looking pretty freaking incredible. So here we have a dozen Gulf oysters, and honestly, these are some of the biggest oysters I've seen in my life. Like, there's just so much meat here, and then we have 3 pounds of crawfish over here, and we've gotten a side medley along with it. We have corn and potatoes and andouille sausage, as well as some mushroom over here. So let's dive in. So when we first started, we were kind of doing something like this, breaking it apart, daintily peeling off the shell from the tail and eating the meat, but that was wrong. So you pluck it apart, and then with this, you kind of push the shell on the tail a little bit, and then you just go for it. So you see, I got about half of it out. I'm still a bit of a newbie, but I'm sure a seasoned crawfish eater would manage to get the entire piece of tail meat out in one go. I'll try again with this guy. Ooh. It's just like a hit of sodium and spice. Like, you can really taste that crawfish spice seasoning and hot sauce that they cook it with. Pinch that tail again. Wait, this was more successful. I got the whole thing out. I claim to be from Louisiana now. So good. They're so addicting. Like, you get that like light numbing spice in your mouth, and I could eat like 5 pounds of these. This is a meager 3 pounds. All right, now I'm gonna try an oyster. And you can see the meat is just spilling out of the shell. Like, this thing is so fat. I've never had oysters this big, it's crazy. They've given us a little cocktail sauce. I'll put a little bit on there as well. Oh, okay, that's not a little bit, that's a lot. And then with oysters, you just, it's like a shot. Wow, it's really good. The horseradish and the cocktail sauce makes it so it's not fishy at all. Just really fresh as you can get. Really amazing. Wow. If you're in New Orleans, definitely come here. It's really fun. The atmosphere is great. Everyone's so friendly. The owners come up and chat with you. The food is obviously amazing. It's just like an overall good time. And we're at a restaurant called Parkway's, which is really famous all over town for their PoBoys. PoBoys are the signature sandwich of New Orleans. Crispy French bread is loaded with a protein of your choice, then dressed in rich sauces. At Parkway, you order at the counter and seat yourself, and you can count on it being packed at any time of day. So we've gotten 2 different types of PoBoys today, and I made sure to go hard. One of them is a fried Gulf shrimp po' boy, and the other one is a surf and turf, so there's fried shrimp and roast beef. Okay, so you can see this one is the surf and turf. You can see a couple golden breaded fried Gulf shrimp in there. You see that messy roast beef covered in gravy, pickles, tomatoes, lettuce, mayo. I mean, for scale, it's about the length of my head and it's really thick. You can see from the side there, there's just a lot of fluffy bread that's really crispy on the outside, and then the protein is just spilling out of it. So I'll just give this a big bite right now. It tastes like a Thanksgiving meal. The roast beef is really comforting, savory, lots of gravy, and the shrimp is just crispy, fried, delicious. Like, it tastes like fried seafood. It's really, really good. See the gravy just like absolutely spilling out of here. Like, I don't see how you could eat this neatly. I feel like that's commonplace in the South. Like, the food just, it's not like first date food. Like, you wouldn't take your first date out and try to be charming and like try to stuff a po' boy in your mouth, you know? Or maybe you will. Like, I would find that attractive. Let's move on to po' boy number 2. Okay, so this is one very stuffed shrimp po' boy. You can see the shrimp is just falling out of there. There are so many of them in here, and they're just like golden brown. They look really crispy and good. I'm actually gonna dress it up with some hot sauce, and then try to figure out the best way to eat this thing. And it just, it is massive. It is huge. Just comfort food, you can't go wrong. Like French bread, fried shrimp, mayonnaise, a pickle in there. So good. Listen, partner, I ain't no cheap three. Like Miss Badu, I'm always coming for real. You know the deal. Every time we go somewhere, I gotta reach down in my purse to pay your way and your homeboy's way, and sometimes your cousin's way. You don't ever have to pay, don't have no car, hang around the bars, trying to hang out with the stars. Like I do, I'ma tell you the truth, be true, forget the boo. Give it a long time. Mandinas is old school New Orleans, a go-to for generations of locals. On the menu, New Orleans classics like fried seafood and gumbo, alongside Southern Italian fusion. We're at Mandinas restaurant in New Orleans, and it's a classic joint that has been here since 1932. So we've gotten some garlic bread. It looks so good. I'm just gonna dive in. So the food hasn't even come yet, but already we finished 9 pieces of garlic bread. That's how good it was. So we've ordered 2 dishes, and man, if there was one word that I would use to describe food in New Orleans, it's decadence. No holding back. Fried catfish with almonds and sauce and French fries. Pasta with parmesan and garlic, parsley and shrimp, and just tossed in olive oil. Let's get started. Enough of me talking, let's dig in. So we'll start with the catfish, and this is just a breaded fried catfish fillet. It's catfish almondine is the name of the dish. And the almonds are cooked in a savory sauce. I believe it's with butter and parsley, garlic. And then it's just poured over the fried catfish fillet. So, diving in. Oh goodness me. That's delicious. So it's fried, but it's not heavy at all. It feels very light and fluffy. The gravy from the almond sauce has given it this light moisture, and your teeth just sink into the white fish, and it's so soft and warm and comforting. And the sauce tastes like a savory gravy, like something you might have with your Thanksgiving dinner. It's really freaking good. I don't think there's any other way to describe it. It's just classic comfort food. You can see here the fries are just swimming in this gravy, so it's almost like a Canadian poutine in a way. So good. Okay, moving on to the shrimp bordelais. Do we think that I can fit this entire bite in my mouth? Let's find out. Wow, that's really good too. Just like classic Italian Southern comfort food. It's flavored really simply. So the sauce is just olive oil, Parmesan cheese, and garlic. With the freshness of the shrimp, it just all comes together. Like New Orleans food is like Thanksgiving food year round. Like it really gives you that feeling, you know? All right, we've done some damage, and I think it's time for us to go take a nap. So, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Dots on a Map Food. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Please hit the subscribe button below and visit www.dotsonaMap.net for more awesome food content.